Welcome to this lecture. Our topic in this lecture is circular motion. You're apprised that there are different types of motion which we talk in physics, and one such motion is motion in a plane. Motion in a plane indicates that when a body moves in presence of a surface where the surface is either in xy plane or in yz plane or xz plane, we call it as the motion in two dimension or motion in plane. Now in this case, there are two possibilities that we can have a circle which is vertical. Vertical would mean that standing on the ground, if I take an object and move it in this manner so that at one point it has a higher height compared to the ground and at a point it has a lower height, we call it as a vertical circle. But if I take an object and move it in this manner so that the height which it has with respect to ground always remains same and it is moving along a circle, we call it as a horizontal circle. So this is a horizontal circle. So our concern in this lecture will not be a vertical circle, it will be a horizontal circle. Think of a horizontal circle. We can define a circle as a locus of point such that the distance of that point remains constant with respect to a fixed point. So if I say that there is a fixed point O and I have an object of mass m moving on this path such that its distance with respect to O always remains equal to small r, which is equal to the radius of the circular path. So इसको हम एक circular motion कहेंगे. और imagine कि circle इस side, that means it should be horizontal, not vertical, so that जो इसका object का distance है from the surface of earth, that remains same always. अब इस path की जब हम बात करते हैं, there are two ways of describing the position of the object. एक तरीका यह है कि हम object को with respect to center अगर हम देखते हैं, say it is at a position A, then it goes to a position B, so this is position B, and it traverses a certain path which is an arc, and that arc I may call as arc AB. So this is arc AB. और as it went from point A to point B, इसने center पर एक angle describe किया, let that angle be called as angle theta. So this is angle described at the center when the body goes from point A to point B, called as theta, and the distance which it has actually covered is along the arc AB, and that arc AB I may call for a while as S. So this is S. Now there are two ways of describing this motion. We introduce two types of velocities which the object can have. One is called as its linear velocity and other is called as the angular velocity. What is linear velocity? Linear velocity, as usual, is the linear distance covered per unit time. So if I take a time of delta t, during that time delta t, if the body describes a distance delta s, then I say linear velocity is the ratio of distance covered over time taken. Then as far as the angular velocity is concerned, if I denote it by omega, omega becomes equal to delta theta divided by delta t. What it means? It means that what is the angle described by this body at the center, which we call as delta theta during time delta t, and this ratio omega, which is equal to delta theta by delta t, gives its angular velocity. Now as such, the unit of linear velocity will be meter per second and the unit of angular velocity will be radian per second. So we measure angular velocity as radian per second. And this way, when we think of the two, we can think of a relation between the two. Now to develop relation between the two, we have a very simple formula. The trigonometry says that if we take an angle at the center subtended by an arc, that means center of circle, then we say angle at center is equal to length of arc divided by radius, We can use this relation for developing a very simple relation initially in the scalar form between the linear velocity and the angular velocity. So let me say that angle at the center is a small angle, call it as delta theta. So angle at center is delta theta, and this is the length of arc, say it is delta s, and the radius of this circle is r. So if I say delta s is equal to r multiplied by delta theta. If this change took place over a time delta t, that means ऑब्जेक्ट ने डेल्टा टी के दौरान एक डेल्टा एस का लीनियर डिस्टेंस कवर किया और इट वाज मूविंग अलोंग अ सर्कल हुज रेडियस वाज आर, और देन एट दैट डेल्टा टी या ड्यूरिंग दैट डेल्टा टी जो उसने एंगल डिस्क्राइब किया एट द सेंटर दैट वाज इक्वल टू डेल्टा थीटा. सो दिस इज द रिलेशन बिटवीन द थ्री क्वांटिटीज. नाउ इफ आई डिवाइड by delta t on both sides, so what I get delta s divided by delta t equal to r multiplied by delta theta divided by delta t. If I further bring in a limit, the limit is that limit delta t tends to 0. That means the time over which this change took place was a very small time. So I insert the limit delta t tends to 0, limit delta t tends to 0. I have a relation delta s by delta t such that limit delta t tends to 0 becomes ds by dt. So this is ds by dt is equal to r multiplied by, so this becomes d theta by dt. Now what is ds by dt? ds by dt is nothing new to us. We have already known that it becomes the linear velocity. So ds by dt is linear velocity. R is radius of the circular path. D theta by dt becomes omega. Omega is angular velocity. So I have a relation which we will be very commonly using in circular motion. V is equal to r omega. This relation is always true, but we have a very special type of circular motion initially to deal with. जिस circular motion की हम बात करने वाले हैं, that circular motion we will call as a uniform circular motion. Now what is a uniform circular motion? The word uniform here does not mean that it is actually a uniform motion. Be careful about it. So इस nomenclature में कई बार हम confuse करते हैं कि uniform circular motion is a uniform motion. The answer is no. It is basically a non-uniform motion because जब हम इस motion में एक velocity की बात करते हैं, velocity object का जो उसका magnitude है, which we call as speed of the body, that speed remains constant, whereas the direction of the velocity goes on changing. So in that sense, if I take the direction of velocity here, call it as v1, here I call it as v2, you will agree with me that maybe magnitude wise they could be same. जो v1 का और v2 का magnitude है, that could be equal, but the direction has to change. Same would be true कि अगर ये ऑब्जेक्ट यहाँ आ जाता है, there will be a different direction of the velocity v3 and this will go up. So after every point of time, the body changes the direction of the velocity even though the magnitude may remain same. Now this type of circular motion where the speed of the body remains constant, that means अगर हम magnitude of velocity लें, that remains constant, but the direction continually changes, is called as uniform circular motion. But in its basic character, a uniform circular motion is a non-uniform motion because there is change in velocity of body. Velocity में हम दोनों चीजों को काउंट करते हैं, उसका magnitude भी और उसका direction भी. Now, is it compulsory that we require a force? Answer is yes. Why we require a force? अगर हम दो पॉइंट्स के बीच में, suppose I take the object from point A to point B, अगर हम इसमें देखें कि क्या acceleration present है कि नहीं, the answer could be yes. Acceleration is present because of the change in velocity. Why there is change in velocity? Because अगर आप इस dotted line को लेते हो, फिर आप इस dotted line को लेते हो, you will agree with me that these two velocities, इसका direction और इसका direction, these two velocities are not same because they vary in direction even though their magnitude will be same. So from point A to point B, there is variation in velocity because of the change in direction, and a force is necessarily required to cause this change. That way, there will be an acceleration present in the body. अगर ये यूनिफॉर्म सर्कुलर मोशन है, देयर इज नो एक्सेलरेशन, जिसको हम एक लीनियर एक्सेलरेशन कहें. लीनियर एक्सेलरेशन वुड मीन दैट देयर इज नो चेंज ऑन द स्पीड. हाउएवर, एक एक्सेलरेशन प्रेजेंट रहेगा. दैट एक्सेलरेशन इज प्रेजेंट टुवर्ड्स द सेंटर ऑफ द सर्कुलर पाथ, एंड दैट एक्सेलरेशन इज कॉल्ड एज centripetal acceleration. Before we go to formally derive an expression for the centripetal acceleration, जिसको हम radial acceleration भी कहते हैं, we go to find out something more about this relation, the relation V equal to R omega. Now in this case, you see that the relation has three quantities, and these three quantities, that is V, omega and R is radius, they are actually three vectors. Where is the velocity vector? The velocity vector is along the tangent of the path, tangent. Where is the position vector? It is along the radius of the path. And where is omega? Omega is angular velocity. This omega is a special kind of vector which we call as an axial vector. What is an axial vector? It's a vector which lies along the axis of this circle. And where is the axis of the circle? The axis of the circle is this direction. This direction. So if I erect a three-dimensional plane, now in this three-dimensional plane, I could imagine that if this is the velocity, this is the velocity V, this is the direction of the position R, then this is the direction of omega, right? That way, this omega, which has to lie along the axis, can only take two orientations. Either it is upwards, that means either it is towards the reader, so it is towards the reader, or it is inwards, that means it is away from the reader. Now there are two senses of rotation. एक sense ये है कि rotation can be anti-clockwise or rotation can be clockwise. So that way, जब हम इस axial vector की बात करते हैं, ये दो ही तरह की orientation ले सकता है. Either the rotation is clockwise, तो इसका एक तरह का value होगा, or it is anti-clockwise, so इसका कुछ और value होगा. So you have to care only about two senses of rotation, clockwise or anti-clockwise. By convention, जब एक anti-clockwise rotation होता है, so this is anti-clockwise, हम एक right hand rule use करते हैं, which says कि अगर anti-clockwise rotation है, तो omega का जो direction है, that direction will be given by thumb, and that will be outwards towards the reader. That means towards the observer. और अगर एक clockwise rotation है, this is the clockwise rotation, then omega will be inwards. In that sense, omega can either be inwards or outwards, whereas जो omega की direction है, that is perpendicular to this plane, जिस plane में R और V lie करते हैं. Now this reminds us of the relation between these three vectors has to be a cross product. Because in case of cross product, you find that if we are given three vectors A, B and C, when I say A cross B is equal to C, the direction of C is perpendicular to the plane formed by A and B. Same is going to happen here. We can think of this relation V equal to R omega in vector form like this, that V becomes equal to omega cross R. Now what is the direction of V? You can again say it is along the tangent. What is direction of R? It is along the radius. What is direction of omega? Omega will be outwards. That means it will be perpendicular to the plane formed by V and R. तो अगर आप V और R का plane लेते हैं, here is the plane formed by V and R. This is R vector, this is V vector, and this plane has the omega perpendicular to it. तो इस लिहाज से जब हम इस relation की बात करें, जो इसका scalar है, the scalar aspect is like this, कि अगर ये relation हम एक circle के ऊपर apply करें, then magnitude of V would be equal to magnitude of R, magnitude of omega into sine of angle between omega and R. जैसे मैंने कहा कि R radius है और omega हमेशा इस पर perpendicular होगा. For a circle, the value of theta here comes out to be 90 degree. Sine 90 degree is equal to 1. So I have V equal to R omega, V equal to R omega. This becomes true for a circle. Maybe later, in certain cases, if the path is not circular, we might have to change. अब इस relation को लेके that v is equal to omega cross r, we go to an attempt of finding acceleration. Acceleration, as you understand, is the derivative of velocity with respect to the time. So what I do is I directly proceed with a mathematical formulation. जिस formulation में हम इस relation को v equal to omega cross r को हम differentiate करेंगे. Remember, when you are differentiating a cross product, the order of vectors becomes significant. So now we go to differentiation of the relation with respect to time. The relation is v equal to omega cross r. So I start v equal to omega cross r differentiating with respect to time on both sides. So we have d over dt of v is equal to d over dt of omega cross r. Remember that when I say d over dx of uv, u is a function of x, v is a function of x, we have u into dv by dx plus v into du by dx. तो इसको आप याद रखते हो that first into derivative of second plus second into derivative of first. तो यहाँ पर ये apply करें. So we have dv by dt is equal to, we say it is derivative of first with respect to time cross r. याद रखें that don't change the order, क्योंकि क्रॉस प्रोडक्ट है, नॉन कम्यूटेटिव है, तो ऑर्डर इसका नहीं चेंज करना है. पहले ओमेगा रहेगा फिर आर रहेगा प्लस. इवन जब आप इसको डिफरेंशिएट करोगे यू मस्ट रिटेन द सेम ऑर्डर. नाउ हैव सेकंड टर्म, वी हैव ओमेगा क्रॉस डी आर बाई डी टी. तो ये हमने यूज किया फर्स्ट इंटू डेरिवेटिव ऑफ सेकंड प्लस सेकंड इंटू डेरिवेटिव ऑफ फर्स्ट, एंड वी आर डिफरेंशिएटिंग विद रिस्पेक्ट टू टाइम. अब इसमें जो टर्म्स आ गई दे आर सेल्फ explanatory. What is dv by dt? dv by dt is linear acceleration. So I denote it by a. So this is a. What is d omega by dt? When I say derivative of theta, which is angular displacement with respect to time, is angular velocity. Derivative of angular velocity with respect to time is called as angular acceleration. Angular acceleration is also an exile vector. So I say d omega by dt is alpha. Alpha is angular acceleration. Then I have cross r, and this is plus omega cross. So again, from the definition of motion in plane, you agree कि अगर हम position vector को differentiate करें हमें उससे velocity vector मिलता है. So I get omega cross v. So I am writing dr by dt is equal to v. अब इस रिलेशन में हमारे पास एक एक्सेलरेशन है, ये भी एक्सेलरेशन है, ये भी एक्सेलरेशन है, ये तीनों एक्सेलरेशंस हैं. सो वी हैव a इक्वल टू अल्फा क्रॉस r प्लस ओमेगा क्रॉस v. इनको अब पहले हम डायरेक्शन वाइज देखते हैं कि किस किस वेक्टर का कौन सा डायरेक्शन होगा. सो हियर इज o, सेंटर ऑफ द सर्कल, ये इसका r है पोजीशन वेक्टर, ये मास है पार्टिकल या बॉडी जो मोशन में है, एंड आई कैन produce the direction of this position vector. So this is the direction of position vector. So this is the direction of r vector. अब हमें दो क्रॉस प्रोडक्ट्स लेने हैं. One is alpha cross r, other is omega cross v. तो अगर अल्फा की आप बात करते हैं, here is the direction of alpha. Alpha is outwards because the motion is anti-clockwise. So this is anti-clockwise like this. And when I take the cross product of alpha cross r, I have to put my right hand fingers in the direction of alpha, and this is r. इन दोनों ने जो प्लेन बनाया वो प्लेन ये वाला प्लेन है. So here is the plane alpha cross r. That way जो हमारा वेक्टर अब इस प्लेन पर जो अल्फा ने और r ने मिला के बनाया, here is that plane, this one. तो इस प्लेन के परपेंडिकुलर ये वेक्टर होगा. So you will agree with me कि वो वेक्टर जो इन दोनों के परपेंडिकुलर है, that will be given like this. I take my right hand fingers, put it in the direction of alpha, turn it towards r. The thumb gives the direction of that vector. तो मैं उस वेक्टर को देखता हूं कि that vector is going to be an acceleration. This is going to be an acceleration which is going to act along the tangent of this circle. I will call this acceleration as tangential acceleration. So तो ये जो दोनों हैं इनका जो प्रोडक्ट है दैट प्रोडक्ट मेक्स द टेंजेंशियल एक्सेलरेशन. तो मैं इसको थोड़ी देर के लिए AT से डिनोट करता हूं. Let's go to the second term. Now, the second term is omega cross V. So, where is omega? Omega is again outwards. As I said earlier, ये एक axial vector है. And where is V? V is along the tangent. Now, what you have to do is, you take your right hand fingers. This is the direction of omega. Put it in this manner कि आप right hand finger omega को V की तरफ turn कर रहे हो. So, this is V. This is omega. Omega cross V. You will agree with me. Will be this direction. तो ये हमारे पास डायरेक्शन बनता है. एक और एक्सेलरेशन का, दिस एक्सेलरेशन आई विल कॉल एज रेडियल एक्सेलरेशन. द टर्म रेडियल हियर indicates that this acceleration is going to lie along the radius. तो ये जो टर्म अब हमारे पास बने omega cross V, this gives us an acceleration which I'll write as AR. और finally what I have now कि जो इस ऑब्जेक्ट की नेट एक्सेलरेशन है, I'll call this as net acceleration. It is the vector sum of two accelerations. One of them is tangential acceleration and the other is radial acceleration. And these two are actually perpendicular to each other. एक radius पर lie कर रहा है और दूसरा tangent पर lie कर रहा है. और you know that tangent is always perpendicular to the radius. अगर कहीं भी आप इस net acceleration का magnitude चाहिए, that can be obtained like this. The magnitude of this net acceleration will be, so magnitude of net acceleration will be equal to, we can say by using the parallelogram law of addition, so it will be equal to the net value of AT. AT is now the tangential acceleration plus the radial acceleration square. This relation has in it now two types of cases. ऐसा हो सकता है कि an object is moving in such a manner that it possesses both tangential acceleration as well as radial acceleration. Radial acceleration essential इसलिए है because until and unless there is a force acting in this direction, ये object इस circular path को traverse नहीं करेगा. This object has to overcome a directional inertia. और अगर हमने इस एक्सेलरेशन को, जिसको हम रेडियल कहते हैं या सेंट्रीपिटल एक्सेलरेशन कहते हैं, जिसके कॉरस्पॉन्डिंग एक फोर्स एग्जिस्ट करता है कॉल्ड ए सेंट्रीपिटल फोर्स, अगर हमने उसको रिलैक्स कर दिया, छोड़ दिया, द ऑब्जेक्ट विल फ्लाई अलोंग द टेंजेंट, इट विल नॉट मूव अलोंग द सर्कल. तो ये एक मैंडेटरी रिक्वायरमेंट है कि कोई भी सर्कुलर मोशन कॉज करने के लिए एक सेंट्रीपिटल फोर्स का होना, एक सेंट्रीपिटल एक्सेलरेशन का होना कंपल्सरी है. But the second one, that is the tangential acceleration, is not mandatory. It is optional. How it is optional? अगर एक ऑब्जेक्ट इस डायरेक्शन में एक यूनिफॉर्म स्पीड से चल रहा है, जिसको हमने यूनिफॉर्म सर्कुलर मोशन कहा, then its tangential acceleration is zero. तो tangential acceleration can understand कि अगर इस डायरेक्शन में पहले ऑब्जेक्ट स्लो चल रहा है, then it increases the speed, then it further increases the speed, then it goes on increasing the speed. You are registering a tangential acceleration. अगर ये हर वक्त ऐसे चलता रहा with the same speed throughout, that means it is not changing this speed and it has a constant speed along the circle, you are actually recording a uniform circular motion. तो यहाँ दो cases arise करते हैं. One is the case of uniform circular motion, and the second is a case of non-uniform circular motion. What's a uniform circular motion? A uniform circular motion is that where tangential acceleration is zero. So for this, AT is equal to zero. Once tangential acceleration is equal to zero, the net acceleration of the body becomes equal to the radial acceleration. And what is radial acceleration? It is omega cross V. That means this radial acceleration will have a magnitude. It will have a magnitude of omega V sine of. अब देखिए ओमेगा और v के बीच में मैंने कहा ओमेगा इस प्लेन पर परपेंडिकुलर है, v है along the tangent, the angle between them is 90 degree, sin 90 degree is 1. और हम ऑलरेडी प्रूव कर चुके हैं कि जो v है it is equal to r omega, so this becomes omega, ये omega multiplied by r omega sin 90 degree is equal to 1, so it is r omega square. You can also put it like this, अगर मैं ओमेगा की जगह पुट करता हूं, ओमेगा की जगह v by r, so omega is equal to v by r, this will be r multiplied by v by r whole square, so that will be v square, so r into v square by r square, so this will be r gets cancelled, so this will be equal to v square by r. So चाहे आप इसको v square by r लिखो या r omega square लिखो, this becomes the centripetal acceleration. Or when the possibility is in a uniform circular motion, the tangential acceleration is zero, the whole acceleration of the body is along the radius only, that is centripetal acceleration. अगर अब tangential acceleration present हुआ, then it becomes a non-uniform circular motion. So this way we have distinguished between two very important aspects of circular motion, which is that circular motion could be a uniform circular motion or a non-uniform circular motion. So in this lecture so far, what we have seen is, we have seen that what is circular motion? It is actually a motion in a plane. What is required in the plane? We require to move a body along a circular path in a horizontal circle such that its distance always remains constant from a fixed point called as center of path. Then we found that this body has to possess a certain amount of inertia because body is in motion. Inertia of direction is that it wants to continue in the straight line path. उस inertia of direction को overcome करने के लिए we have to apply a force on it. That force has to be such कि ये इस object को मजबूर करे इस circular path को traverse करने के लिए, ना कि एक tangent पर चलने के लिए. और that force we will call as the centripetal force. Corresponding to centripetal force, there is centripetal acceleration, which we also call as radial acceleration. We started with a very simple relation, v equal to r omega, put it in vector form, differentiate it. When we differentiate, we arrived on two terms. That way, the net acceleration of a body which moves along a circle becomes the vector sum of tangential component and the radial component. And when we investigate into it, we find that the tangential component is not mandatory, लेकिन जो radial component है, it is essential, और वो radial component का हमने magnitude देखा that it is equal to r omega square या v square by r, that's called as centripetal acceleration. हाँ, about the tangential acceleration, we can work out in various problems. We can think about the non-uniform circular motion where it becomes important. So this was about the two types of acceleration which a body possesses. We will further formally derive now the expression v square by r for centripetal acceleration and come to some more aspects of the uniform circular motion.